But actually, the introduction of this GMO will affect other beneficial insects such as bees and other birds. So that is something that we don't want. We don't want to disturb that cycle.
Ganier also fears that once introduced to farmers, the GMO maize would keep other local crops from growing. Kwapata says there is no evidence that would happen, but he acknowledges that people are concerned.
There's a lot of skepticism. There's a lot of political anxiety. But in the final analysis, as researchers, we are saying that the nation needs to give us a chance to do the research diligently, independently, without due influence.
Kwapata says the researchers will present the results of the trials only to government authorities so they can decide whether the GMO maize should be introduced in Malawi. Lamek Masina, VOA News, Lilongwe, Malawi.
At an undisclosed location in South Africa's northwest province, these rhinos are being prepared for life in the wild. That's under a scheme by conservation NGO African Parks to rewild 2,000 captive-bred white rhinos. It's a move that could boost the world's wild southern white rhino population by up to 15%. African Parks project manager Donovan Juice said the aim is to rewild around 200 rhinos per year over the next 10 years to various protected areas across Africa.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime de-risking effort from a conservation initiative at scale that's never happened before. So I think for the species, it's a massive opportunity.
The rhinos were bought from private breeder John Hume. He sold the animals because of the high cost of protecting them. Poaching remains a severe threat in South Africa. 499 were poached in 2023, according to government data, an increase from the year before. Rhinos are targeted for their horns, which are in demand in East Asia for traditional medicines and jewelry.
There is no greater job as being a mother than any other job on earth.
The woman is the mother of the murderer. The woman is also the mother of the peacemaker.
They must learn to say no to evil.
Be involved in raising your children.
I'm so concerned that a lot of the children, our children in Nigeria, do not have access to good quality education. Their parents simply cannot afford it.
Good parenting is vital to nation building. A woman is able to program a child to be who he should be.
Actually have to make an effort at home. It all begins at home.
There's this popular saying, monkey see, monkey do.
Parents make one child seem more important than the other.
Just because your mother was a drug addict or trafficked or on the streets or whatever, that does not shape who you are.
I want you to always remember that you are stronger than you know.
It is important for women to critically look at your environment, at your situation, and see what you can do to add value to yourself and add value to your family.
Don't be a victim. Be the player that wins.
Well, when I started out, when I got married, I was already working in the bank. And I had worked in the bank I worked in the bank for about 11 and a half years. Within that time, I had 3 of my children. When I just got married and started having kids, I worked in Onitsha. and lived in Asaba. And it was crazy. I had to leave for work very early at about 6:30, sometimes earlier than 6:30 if I had a meeting and I wasn't sure how the roads were going to be. And I could get back as late as 11 o'clock, 10 if the bridge was blocked and I was trapped in traffic. So it wasn't really easy. But then I had a very competent nanny who would wait till whenever I came back. And then I would have to maybe take her and drop her off at home, and she would come back the next day. What I tried to do when I worked in the bank was to create a support system. A system in which if one thing or one person was absent or couldn't come to work or something happened, I immediately had another person that could immediately take over. And that helped me a lot. I can remember when I had my last child, I had a horrible housekeeper. And when I realized that she wasn't the best, I had to take her to daycare at about 7 months. It wasn't an easy decision to make because then when I worked, all my kids stayed at home till they were 2. You didn't go to school till you were 2. But at that time, that was the only opportunity, only avenue open to me. The other 2 were in a school. It was a good school. So I simply took her there to school and explained to them that please watch over her. They had a daycare. There were kids much younger than her there at that time, and she was fine. And within a few weeks, I was able to get a replacement. Although I didn't pull out of school, my system was working again. So after about 11 and a half years, when I lost my job in the bank, when my bank was acquired by another bank, I made up my mind not to go back to the banking industry because I realized that I wasn't there for my children. I could remember an evening I came home, and as I was going up the stairs with the kids, because once I drive in, they will usually come outside to meet me and would all come in together. As I was walking in with my kids, the youngest was walking in front of me and climbing up the stairs. My housekeeper was ahead of us taking some things upstairs. And she looked at her and she said, "Mommy, carry me." And at that time, I reached down to pick her up, but she wasn't speaking to me. She was speaking to my housekeeper. And that one picked her up and took her upstairs. At first, I was upset that she would call her mommy and she would answer. But I needed to ask myself some very real questions. What was I doing for her as a mother compared to what the housekeeper was doing for her as a mother? And, for her to even call her mommy, it meant that she loved her a whole lot and she showered her with affection. I wasn't there to show her the kind of affection the housekeeper could. So for me, that was it was a wake-up call. At that point, I really needed to ask myself, did I want to be a mom or did I want to be this successful career woman? And for me, that was a turning point. I told myself it is time to begin to think of getting out. And when I lost my job, it was like, yippee, no going back. And then I began to ask myself, what could I do that would give me time for my children, time to pursue what I love to do? I love to teach. And I said, okay, why not? Why not build yourself? Why not create a kind of a portfolio that will allow you to train and teach in quite a number of places? And then I went for a life coaching certification at Olushola Larry Coaching Academy in Lagos. I did my psychology certification there. After that, I went in and got my certification for project management. And when I had done that, I set up a business, Trove Unleashed Consulting, as a lead consultant, and I began to teach. I teach team building. I do business coaching for organizations. I do life coaching for individuals. I work with a lot of medium and small scale organizations and larger bodies, small scale organizations in Asaba, larger bodies outside Asaba, building up their workforce. So for me, there must be a balance. Working by myself, I know that there are days where I could take off time and tell my workers, I wouldn't be in the office today. I'll be doing X, Y, Z. I don't have the luxury of sitting at home because I own a business, because whether I like it or not, building my business is part of building who I am as an individual. But I have this habit of taking a week off just before schools resume to take out time to talk with my children, to ask them what their plans are for the term that is about to start. at that time, I still take time out to go over their results and begin to build what I would call an action plan, how we are going to prepare for the term ahead. We begin to discuss how many days of cartoons do we have? Are we going to watch TV during the school time or just at weekends? We begin to talk, So it's time for me to actually get my kids into, how I say, the groove for school. And it also prepares me because I do most of the school runs myself unless I'm not in town. So for me, I just create a system that allows me to function at home and in the office. But my priority has and would always be my home. But my office would definitely thrive.
Exceptional mom, shape the future.
I've come to realize that there is no quick fix. There is no textbook answers to any of the questions that have been asked today. I think it has taught me that you think on your feet and you realize that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So you need to ask yourself, what I'm doing now, what I'm doing today, this particular thing, how is it going to play out in the next 4 days? How is it going to play out in the next week, in the next month, in the next year? Because when you are dealing with kids, you are dealing with people who mirror your every action. So you need to be careful. It makes me more careful because kids are going to always ask you questions. So you need to make sure that your walk and your talk line up. If you're going to give them a tall order, make sure it's an order that you can match. Because the day you cannot match it, they're going to call you out. So it has taught me to be that person that I expect them to be. It has made me realize the importance of value transfer, that whatever I do is a value that I'm transferring to my children. So I would say motherhood has made me a better person because I know that my kids watch me. They observe every single thing I do. So if I want them to be these wonderful kids, these kids that I can take anywhere at any time, then I need to model that for them. I need to show them that example. So motherhood in itself is a school. Every day is class and there's somebody watching. 3 successful parenting tips that have worked for me. I think each home would have its own unique set of tips. So for me, I pray. For me, you must pray as a parent. You pray for yourself, for your head to be in the right place, so that you can be that parent that God wants you to be. And you pray for those kids. Because for me, the reason why prayer is so important is that I believe that the children that I have are not necessarily mine. God just gives them to me and tells me, you have a responsibility to raise them the way I would have raised them if I was here, if I was on earth, as their father or as their mother. So for me, I need to pray. In the place of prayer, I need to set things right. And when I'm done praying, I need to begin to act. For me, as a parent, you need to continuously step up. Every day, things are changing. Our kids are being exposed to things that growing up we were not exposed to. So I need to keep on acting. I need to keep on being one step ahead of everything that is happening around me. I have a child who was, tapping at the iPad when she was barely a year old. I didn't even touch a computer till I was about 21. So what that tells me is that I need to be ahead. I need to keep up with every single thing that is happening around me. Everything is important. And I need to make sure that my children have the right information. Because as they say, information is power. If you do not educate these kids, if you do not give them the right information at home, somebody is going to give it to them outside. So pray, keep ahead, get all the information you can get. And lastly, educate yourself, not just your children. Learn the different skills that a parent should have. We do not have all the answers. So go out, go for seminars, go for workshops, read books. There are podcasts online that you can listen to. The good thing about information is that you get this whole load of information and you begin to sieve. You try to find what is applicable to you as an individual, what is applicable to your society, what is applicable to your home. But find answers. There's so much happening out there. Educate yourself as a parent. Get information that will be useful to you and your kids. And most importantly, have Jesus. You need him. For me, he is my rock. And he keeps me going every day. I learned once. There was a seminar I learned, and it encouraged us as women to have what we call our backup system. You know, to have our place where we go and sharpen the saw, where we refresh, where we relax. You know, for me, I have a group of women, not a whole lot, just a couple, that I know will be honest enough to tell me when I'm veering off the path. I have women that I consider my strong place, that I can talk to when I feel challenged, and they would strengthen me in my soul, in my spirit, and in my body. You know, I take time out to rest and refresh. You know, because whether you like it or not, if you keep at it every single day, you will burn out. You know, I also think it's important as women, not that we don't put ourselves down. You know, every woman is struggling with something. Recognize the other woman's struggle. You know, applaud her victories. In her challenges, support her. Because whether you like it or not, there's something out there that each person is warring with. You know, so as women, we need to keep one another going. It's not an easy road, because whether you like it or not, a woman juggles so much. We might not be bringing in the mega box or building the skyscrapers or big houses, but we create a place where the people that build those skyscrapers, that may bring in those mega box, have to come home and, you know, find some form of comfort. We live in a society where the woman practically more than 50% of the time raises the children to a great extent by herself, because the man is out there working. So, you know, we need to keep one another going. So that's my take on it. I could only speak for myself on this. I don't know if it's possible, you know, to have a zero yelling policy. I don't know if I can work with that. But for me, I believe that it's not just a matter of yelling or not yelling. It's really a matter of what you say to the children when you yell. Like, I believe that it's possible to have two completely different reactions after a yelling fest. The child would actually burst into laughter, you know, and still do what you want them to do. Or the child could burst out crying. Now, the question is, what do you say to your child when you yell? Because I believe strongly that if you had a child that are about to put their hands into fire, or touch a hot iron, or pick up a knife or a razor blade, and you are miles away, you would most likely yell, because you need their attention now. And you wouldn't whisper, because things could go wrong. Now, what do you say to your children when you yell? It's important that we realize that children have feelings too. And if we want them to grow up properly, to have the right kind of self-esteem, not to look down on themselves, not to, you know, have issues when dealing with other people, it's important that we bolster their self-esteem, that we teach them, that we treat them in a manner that will make them feel good about themselves. Now, even if you have to yell at a child, do it in love. Emotional intelligence parenting is another way to go about it. Now, you must be able to manage your emotions as a parent and those of your child to get the kind of response that you would want from the child. You can't shout and scream at and yell at a child and expect that child to wake up tomorrow morning and actually see themselves as being indomitable. It's not possible, because with the more you yell, rather the more you yell at a child, the more you reduce the self-esteem of that child. So as much as possible, we should put yelling in its place. It's really not necessary as a means of communication, but there are instances where it will happen. If you must raise your voice, if you must yell, don't do it in an environment that would embarrass the child, because at the end of the day, you might not actually pass across a message per se. You might just succeed in lowering the child's self-esteem. Ask yourself critically, do I really need to do this to get the result I want? Now, that is what you should be after, eliciting a particular response. If yelling is not going to do that, don't bother. If there's another alternative to get the response you want without yelling, adopt that. Because whether you like it or not, there's a point in time when you would yell at a child and it won't make any impact whatsoever. So why yell? Pick something else.
Exceptional mom, shift the future.
I think our bodies differ. For some women, I think their bodies get away from them and they don't know how to get it back. But I think that there's always something that we can do. For me, I believe that it's important that I preserve my body because I need to be there for my children. I can remember when I had my first child, I got really big, I think about a size 18. And by the time the second one came, I couldn't keep up. I couldn't run, I couldn't play, I was always tired, I was always hot, I was always flustered and upset. And I had to take a good look at myself and ask myself, do I want to be this stressed out mom all the time? Because for me, it was stressful. And somewhere in between, I found that I had lost myself, so I had to pause, reevaluate everything, and I began to work on myself. I had to make little changes. I didn't try to do it all at once. I didn't create the kind of physical woman that society would want. I created the kind of physical woman I would want because it had to be for me. It couldn't be for anybody else. I had to be healthy. I had to be strong. I had to be able to chase them around the house, at every point in time. So should we allow our bodies get away from us? No. Because when your body gets away from you, you begin to deal with other issues apart from health issues. If care is not taken, your self-esteem goes down the drain. When you get dressed and you look at yourself and you don't understand what you see, or you don't know who you see in the mirror, it begins to play tricks on your mind. So the keeping your body in shape might not just necessarily be for aesthetic purposes. It could also be for your sanity, for your peace of mind, so that when you look at the mirror, there's this boost, you are still there, you're still it. You're creating a right picture for your children. It's really nice when you're walking out of the room and the kids go, "Oh, mommy, you're looking good. I like your top. I like your this. I like your that." Everybody loves compliments. So why allow your body get away from you? Just make little changes to keep it all in there, and why? It can be done. Whenever my kids are upset with me, they always tell me, "Mommy, you're not my friend again." And I look at them and I tell them, "Good. I'm not your friend. I'm your mom." For me, friendship, I want to be their mom more than I want to be their friend. I don't want them to think that, because with friends, you could do anything and get away with it and to be okay because you're friends. But I want them to know that there are certain things that mommy won't allow you get away with. Not because she wants to spoil your fun, but because she has gone ahead and she knows that in the long run, these things will not give you the results you want. So do I want to be their friend? Not particularly. I want to be their mom. But at the same time, I want us to have a relationship where we can talk about anything. I want to be what I will call their safe room, their panic room, the place where they will come to when there's nowhere else to go. In fact, I want to be the first person they would run to when they have made the biggest mistake of their lives. And I want them to know that I wouldn't judge them. And really, I won't. Because if I give them the opportunity to go somewhere else in a time of trouble, I might not be able to handle the repercussions of that. I want my kids to know that I'm not judging them. Our kids shouldn't fear judgment with us. We should realize that they're human, they're kids, and they're fallible. They could make mistakes. So, do I want to be their friend? No, I would rather be their mom. Time, myself, because I think for each decision we make to love someone, we give off part of ourselves. And each day when I wake up, I choose to love my children. I choose to love my husband. I choose to love those who help me build my home. So I would say little bits of me go with doing that. But the truth of the matter is, I would do it over and over and over again. So as much as it has been a sacrifice, I think it's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make every day of my life. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's so worth it. I carry some things, I call them my scars. When you have a couple of children, the abdomen is not as flat as you would want it to be. But when I look at that, I tell myself, this is part of me. This is part of being a mom. So would I do it over again? Of course. I think basically, for me, the most important thing is that you must have faith in yourself. You must have faith in the fact that you have the ability to be that mother that you desire to be. for the things you know that you would want to do as a mom that you don't know how to do. There's so much information out there to make you the woman or the mother that you want to be. Have faith in you. Have faith in yourself. You would make it. It's not as hard as you think. It's tough, but the truth of the matter is that you're tougher. My name is Olive Anoye. Keep watching Exceptional Mom so that you can be an exceptional mom. It's interesting, it's intriguing, and it's worth the watch.
This is for you, Mom. You are caring, patient, kind, and beautiful. You cared for me since I was born. You taught me how to pray and gave me everything I needed in life to succeed and become a better person. When I was upset, you made me laugh and talked to me. You gave me everything a girl would dream of. That is why I love you.
Exceptional mom, shape the future.
Our parental tip for the week is
Not every wound bleeds. Some are carried in silence, behind the smiles, behind the success, behind the laughter, millions of people are living with invisible wounds caused by trauma, depression, anxiety, substance abuse, gender-based violence, insecurity, and the pressures of everyday life. This October 8th to 10th, Nigeria will host a conference to change the conversation. The Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, through the National Mental Health Program, in collaboration with ECHO's Africa Initiatives, USA, proudly present. The 2026 Mental Health and Gender-Based Violence Conference. Theme: Invisible Wounds. Understanding mental health, trauma, gender-based violence and their impact on society. Join renowned global mental health experts, national policymakers, healthcare professionals, community leaders, and mental health ambassadors from Nollywood and the entertainment industry for 3 transformative days of learning, dialogue, innovation, and action.
There's an African proverb that it takes a village to raise a child. Mental health is everybody's business.
Together, we can replace stigma with understanding, silence with hope, and despair with healing. Because mental health is everyone's business. Be part of the movement. Register today. For sponsorship, partnership, and registration details, visit our website or call the numbers on your screen. Together, let's heal minds, strengthen communities, and transform lives. Mental Health and Gender-Based Violence Conference Nigeria 2026. Register and secure your spot now. Mental health is a human right.
If you look at Igbos, they are very self-contained. They don't like you go to government, you see them having this food stamps and that. Anongwa man or Igbo, let me get from Igbo, they don't even go and apply for this things. They want to struggle, and have everything for themselves, right? So, but if you come to Ngwa people, they are all into make sure their family are well fed. So for that, they are very industrious. They are very, very, everything they are doing, they want to make sure that they are content with what they have. So I'm proud of that. You can't see an Ungwa man, going to beg somebody, oh, give me this. No, we try all we can, work very hard, and make sure you take care of yourself and your family.
We have collective attributes that we can say that if you have a Ungwa man, you are likely to meet someone who is very, very hospitable, who is very generous, who is willing to help others more often than they want to help themselves. So these are typical Ngwa person. The Ngwa person cherishes his or her culture, very, very important. And that's one of the things we have manifested in New York. Even while away from home, we cherish our culture, we practice our tradition.
We have a way of greeting. So we make sure, no matter how the English they are doing, you must make sure they know how we greet. Maze, now. So that's a kind of respect also when you see an elder. So we that is a part of what we teach them when you. That's why it's very important we maintain our culture.
Ngwa Cultural Organization of New York is an organization, first of all, that you become a member by just because you are born or married in the Ngwa local government areas of Abia State in Nigeria. You know the Obingwa, Osisioma, Isialangwa North, Isialangwa South, and Ubunabo, and we also welcome our brothers from the Okwa East and West. So just because you're born in this geographical location, you are qualified to be a member. And also, if you are married into wherever, whether you are Nigerian, you are any country at all that you are married to an Ngwa, you are automatically qualified to be a member of Ngwa Cultural Organization. Then by location, if you live in New York City, New York State, and its environs, and you are also qualified. In addition to the qualification by birth or by marriage, you're qualified to be part of the Ngwa Cultural Organization. And this is an organization, as you can see, the name, cultural. We try to make sure that we pass on our heritage, our culture, whatever we're known for, we are dedicated to pass it on to the next generation, to make sure, even though that we are in diaspora, that we maintain and our kids know where they came from and they carry it on from generation to generation.
From the history we have from our elders that came together to form this organization, because Ngwa people, know themselves. Ngwa people want to bring themselves together, even though we are in diaspora. We need to have our, put ourselves together as a family and also take care of ourselves in case there's a need or there's challenges. We have somebody to call on. And that was the history regarding the formation of NC Ngwa Cultural Organization in New York. And this association continued to thrive, continued to grow, continued to have new members coming in. How we came to the United States and found this organization in existence, and we became part of it.
Love for one another, commitment to what it means to be an Ngwa person here in a foreign land. So that interest, that desire to still maintain, to be, even though we are away from home, to still feel at home, that is what brought us together. And that's what has been keeping us.
Once in a month, we cook, we eat, we have fun, we bring our young ones, which every month our young people want to come to that meeting, because that's where they will see all their youth, they see their friends, they run around, they chat. That's what we have here as NCO meeting. And with that NCO meeting, both young and old, we have people that married outside our Ngwa people. They marry them outside, that they're not even born and married and Ngwa, but they are born here. Some of them are born here. Some of them are the Ngwa people. They born them Ngwa. They marry outside Ngwa, or they marry outside the state. We don't discriminate. Our child is our child. If you are Ngwa person, if you are coming to our meeting, you come with your husband. We receive you. We receive your husband. You and your husband, you are made up of Ngwa, and we receive them as Ngwa people. In our meeting, we don't discriminate.
The Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, through the National Mental Health Program, in collaboration with ECHO's Africa Initiatives, USA, proudly present. The 2026 Mental Health and Gender-Based Violence Conference. Theme: Invisible Wounds. Understanding mental health, trauma, gender-based violence and their impact on society. Join renowned global mental health experts, national policymakers, healthcare professionals, community leaders, and mental health ambassadors from Nollywood and the entertainment industry for 3 transformative days of learning, dialogue, innovation, and action.
There's an African proverb that it takes a village to raise a child. Mental health is everybody's business.
Together, we can replace stigma with understanding, silence with hope, and despair with healing. Because mental health is everyone's business. Be part of the movement. Register today. For sponsorship, partnership, and registration details, visit our website or call the numbers on your screen. Together, let's heal minds, strengthen communities, and transform lives. Mental Health and Gender-Based Violence Conference Nigeria 2026. Register and secure your spot now. Mental health is a human right.
You will have to hold on to your culture because there are so many things involved in your culture, right? Culture comes with respect. You respect your culture and you respect yourself, right? And if you look at our culture, it comes from the same respect. From there they start to develop this, develop that.
Ndị ga anyị sịla adịghị mgbe o hafuru mgbe e chekwara amaala ma ọ bụ ndị sochi ma chi ọkụlezi mgbe na ọjị na chọrọ ndị ka anyị nọ mgbe ndị ọbịa ịma ndị ga n'ime oke dị ije
Despite the fact that Mother Nature, which is the weather, had wanted to disrupt that event, but because that we had planned very well, there was a lot of publicity and a lot of things were put in place just to make that event successful. That's why you saw, regardless of the weather condition on that very day, it was successful.
The Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, through the National Mental Health Program, in collaboration with ECHO's Africa Initiatives, USA, proudly present. The 2026 Mental Health and Gender-Based Violence Conference. Theme: Invisible Wounds. Understanding mental health, trauma, gender-based violence and their impact on society. Join renowned global mental health experts, national policymakers, healthcare professionals, community leaders, and mental health ambassadors from Nollywood and the entertainment industry for 3 transformative days of learning, dialogue, innovation, and action.
There's an African proverb that it takes a village to raise a child. Mental health is everybody's business.
Together, we can replace stigma with understanding, silence with hope, and despair with healing. Because mental health is everyone's business. Be part of the movement. Register today. For sponsorship, partnership, and registration details, visit our website or call the numbers on your screen. Together, let's heal minds, strengthen communities, and transform lives. Mental Health and Gender-Based Violence Conference Nigeria 2026. Register and secure your spot now. Mental health is a human right.
The Ngwa people in New York, which are for the Ngwa Cultural Organization, New York, was born out of necessity. It's a child of necessity because if you recall, between I think 1966 to 1970, Nigeria fought a very bad civil war in which Ngwa nation was among the Biafran country that was in the defense, where so many casualties, there were so many needs. So already there were other people in New York during that war who had already migrated, either schooling as graduate students who couldn't go back during the war. So there was need. It was one out of need to see what can we do for our people at home? How can we support the refugees who have been impacted by this war? Because of it, they got together informally then to send it to leave and then send money to Biafra. Then as the war ended in the 1970s, they also continued that solidarity because even the war had ended. There were so many needs, and also some students migrated from Nigeria, came to New York also. New York was one of the places they had to come to study that. So there were lots of needs, both there and here. There were so many new immigrants. So they come together to support each other. And then as time goes on, they see that there is need to formalize that association and make it all-encompassing for students, for newcomers, for oldcomers. Any simple person that has an Ngwa identity was allowed to come together. So in 1974, summer of 1974, the Ngwa Cultural Organization was born.
Ngwa Cultural Organization of New York is an organization, first of all, that you become a member by just because you are born or married in the Ngwa local government areas of Abia State in Nigeria. You know the Obingwa, Osisioma, Isialangwa North, Isialangwa South, and Ubunabo, and we also welcome our brothers from the Okwa East and West. So just because you're born in this geographical location, you are qualified to be a member. And also, if you are married into, whether you are Nigerian, you are any country at all, that you are married to an Ngwa, you are automatically qualified to be a member of Ngwa Cultural Organization. Then by location, if you live in New York City, New York State, and its environs, you are also qualified. In addition to the qualification by birth or by marriage, you are qualified to be part of the Ngwa Cultural Organization.
I'm married to an Ngwa woman, so I'm a part of it. I'm from Ubretasa, Upwa local government area. Okay, Upwa West, that's where I belong. Due to the fact that my wife is from Ngwa, Isiala Ngwa, I joined that. So far, nobody has told me you're not Ngwa or this. And we were in school, we came as Ngwa, not this. That started from home. Okay. Even when we came here years ago, 40-something years ago, when we come to a place, nobody cares where you come from. We're all Nigerians. We're not going to say, I'm from here. All these organizations weren't then. We came together. And we went to school. It's all Nigerian organization, not this. So all those things, I can tell you what happened, and then things are changing, and we have to change with the society.
Echoes from the Valley, storytelling for social change. Watch every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. on BronxNet TV, USA. Also showing every Saturday at 6:30 p.m. on Africa Independent Television, AIT. And streaming anytime on our social media platforms. Echoes from the Valley, storytelling for social change.
Well, it was my first time doing it. I really didn't know what to do. It was the first one, just dance, shake, and just like feel happy.
Our culture is a spirit that passed on to our children, and we also believe that this thing are passing to the next generation to come. So you see us standing behind at the administrators of this organization for now. We are holding our culture tenaciously. We are holding to our hearts, not just living there. We want to pass it to the next generation, like our elders I previously mentioned, about 40 decades plus. They formed this organization, they continue with this culture, they pass it on to us. It is also our responsibility to pass the same culture, our tradition, our heritage to our people. And that's what we are doing. The most interesting thing is our children are embracing it, and we are so happy that they are taking part in our cultural activities.
Few years ago, the guy that used to do masquerade, a gig, died. And they died almost during the time of our cultural night. There was nobody to carry